Many of them comes to me to work for them. And at the end of the day, I tell them that Yahoo is not a small picking business. Say because Oyinbo don't use to pay person money just like that. There is no work that call Yahoo. All is ritualist.
She was hardworking. She was kind. She was the only one fighting to keep her family alive. But the people she was fighting for were the ones who took her life in the most wicked way. Today on Africa Today Crime, we bring you the heartbreaking and brutal case of Joy Osameze, the 39-year-old cassava farmer. She was not just a cassava farmer, she was also cocoyam, yam, pepper, watermelon and plantain farmer. A woman whose dreams were buried in the very soil she worked so hard to till. Her death was not just murder, it was ritual slaughter.
Welcome to Africa Today Crime Channel. Do you know liking our video helps it grow faster? Please, today don't forget to like our video, subscribe and share. Thank you.
Joy Osameze was a 39-year-old woman from Obiaroko in Okwani local government area, Delta State. After the death of her husband, life didn't stop for her. She became stronger. She worked every single day on her farm, planting cassava, corn, watermelon, yam and pepper just to feed herself and her late husband's nephew who lived with her. She had 2 children, but they didn't live with her. They only visited from time to time. Her whole world was famine, faith and family, but behind her own walls, something evil was growing. It all began with a phone call. Joy has not returned from the farm. At first, the community thought she was just taking longer than usual. But when evening came, and then the next morning, and still no sign of her, panic began to rise. Neighbors went into the bush paths, calling her name. Her children rushed in from town crying and confused, and the boy she raised, her nephew, he was crying too, but his tears were hiding something. He knew exactly what happened to Joy. Days later, 5 suspects were caught by local vigilantes and handed over to the police. They were young boys, hoodlums, street caught boys. But among them was one that shook the whole town. Joy's own nephew, the 18-year-old boy she took in after his mother abandoned him. The same boy she fed, clothed and protected. He was the one who plotted her death. At first, he denied everything, but when officers separated him from the others and began interrogating him with evidence, he broke down and cried. "It was my idea," he said. He told police how he and his gang had been watching her every day, how he gave the exact time she usually goes to the farm, around 6:30 a.m. On that fateful morning, they waited along the narrow bush road. He saw her coming with her usual blue wrapper and farming tools. She didn't even notice them. They were hiding under palm leaves and thick cassava stems. He whistled once, and that was a signal. She walked ahead on her way until she entered the lonely stretch, that area with no houses or voices. That was when one of the boys crept behind her and smashed a thick stick against her head. She fell to the ground, not dead, but gasping. Her body was twitching. Her mouth moved, but no words came out, and her nephew stood and watched. They dragged her deep into the bush, a place even hunters avoid. Her blood left a trail along the dry leaves. Her body was half conscious, her eyes half open. She looked at her nephew. She tried to speak, but instead a tear rolled down her face. And then the nightmare began. They took out a sharp knife, first her fingers, then her left breast. Then they went for her heart. She was still breathing when they started. Her nephew said he looked away when they cut open her chest, but it didn't stop them.
I point at the farm road on our way going to the farm. So when I point out to the boys, which is Chukutim and Osam, she was hit by the stick, a plywood that normally they used to for their work. So when they hit her, then grab her to the place they want to cut apart. So when they were cutting her breast, I cannot bear the pain. I was convinced by a friend of the oracle.
According to the confession, the boys were working for a native doctor from Ekiti State who had been living secretly in Obiaroko for over 2 years. The herbalist promised them wealth, fame, and spiritual power if they could bring a complete woman with fingers, heart, and breasts. Joy was the sacrifice. After the killing, they placed her body parts inside black nylon sacks and carried them to the shrine. Hidden inside the native doctor's compound, surrounded by thick bamboo trees and red clothes. After the police got the full confession, they moved fast. In the early hours of the next morning, a combined team of police, army officers, and vigilantes stormed the native doctor's hideout. But there was resistance. Do you know a wealthy man believed to be the herbalist sponsor sent local thugs to block the officers? Stones were thrown, guns were drawn. One officer was nearly stabbed, but the police overwhelmed them. Inside the compound, they found sacks filled with human parts, skulls, hearts, fingers, and even a woman's breast. One of the skulls matched the description of Joy Osameze. The police doctor in charge said this person was definitely murdered. The body was mutilated with precision, but the full autopsy will confirm if this is truly the victim. The town of Obiaroko is still in shock. Joy's children cannot believe their own cousin did this. People gathered at her compound, lighting candles and crying at the front door. One neighbor said, "She was the kindest woman I know. She farmed just to feed that boy, and he killed her for money."
Many of them comes to me to work for them. At the end of the day, I tell them that Yahoo is not a small picking business. Say because Oyinbo don't use to pay person money, just like that. There is no work that call Yahoo. All is ritualist.
The police now believe this is not a one-time case. This same syndicate has been linked to 3 other ritual killings in the last 7 months. All women, all in nearby villages. The herbalist is now in custody. The sponsor, a rich businessman in Obiaroko, is being investigated, and the 18-year-old nephew is now facing charges for murder, conspiracy, and ritual slaughter. This is more than just another news story. This is a story of betrayal, innocence destroyed, and a country where ritual killings are rising fast, especially among young people. Why are teenagers turning to darkness for quick money? Why do people now see their own blood as a sacrifice for wealth? Joy Osameze is gone, but her story must never be forgotten. This is Africa Today Crime. Subscribe to stay informed, and please stay safe out there, because sometimes the ones we feed are the ones who sharpen the knife behind us. And it was really obvious that the 18-year-old boy didn't just decide to kill Joy. This young boy has been involved in so many crimes in that community, unknowingly to so many people, because when he was caught, a lot of people were shocked in disbelief. This boy was not only looking for quick money, he was among a cult group, and he has been committing so many atrocities until when they met this herbalist who told them that they can get rich by sacrificing parts of a woman. This life is deep, and there are a lot of evil that is happening around us. Everyone needs to stay vigilant, stay focused, and stay safe.
This person was actually murdered, but nothing is specific yet until after the autopsy.
About the third or the third times they have been doing this. So even when our men went for the recovery of the skull, one of the medical doctors, who of course is very wealthy in Obiaroko there, arranged his thugs who went there to go and attack our men. But unfortunately, when they saw that we had an overwhelming number of men there, and of course they could not be able to withstand them, they had to give up, and all of them were arrested.